no trespassing past that point. See, they got this sign and these fences. They've got the fences up finally, and that is why we're out here. They were installing them last week. This is Blue Lives Matter. I'm out in the city of Converse. It's at an unusual time of the night. That's when I do things like this. I do things like this for a reason. I don't have to deal with other people being around, being worried about my camera, etc. The only people who might even be concerned are the police, but the police know who I am here. They know who I am because I'm the reason they got this fence. See, this police lot, according to their police sergeant, police station was built in 2005, and for 17 years, they did not get a fence as they asked and asked. Last year, in June 30th of last year, I came out here and walked down this sidewalk, and that sign that I just pointed out was not there. And I walked around the corner, and I was accosted by an officer who told me this was restricted property. And I said, well, there was no sign saying it. If you say it is, I'll leave. That officer didn't want to let it go at that. He said, well, you got ID, and I'm a rights activist, so I'm a dick sometimes. And I say, I ain't gonna ID. I don't have to ID. We came out here, and he showed me a sign over here that said, oh, look, there's a sign over here. So I said, but I couldn't see that sign from where I came from. So you can't arrest someone if they can't see a sign. That's not what the law is in Texas. See, and the law in Texas is if it's reasonably noticeable, then that's all that's needed. But if it's impossible to notice, that cannot be grounds for conviction for criminal trespass. And it was impossible for me to see that sign from the route I came. So I told him, I said, well, you're going to need to get some signs up. And the lieutenant came out and said, we don't care what you think the law is, because we Johnny Law out here, and we do things our way. I said, Lieutenant, you're wrong. I proved to him I could not have committed the crime of criminal trespass, but he didn't care. He said, we going to violate your rights anyway, boy, because that's what we're used to doing around here, and we've had this issue in the past. I said, well, if you had the issue in the past, why didn't you put up a fence or a sign? And they said, but we asked for them, but we didn't get one, so we're still going to do it because we're allowed to do it. And see, that's just it, folks. They weren't allowed to do it. They violated my rights. They detained me unlawfully when no crime was committed. Here comes another officer right now. I'll shine my light over there. Make sure he sees I'm standing here. I'm just doing my story, and I don't want to surprise him. So I want to make sure he's aware I'm out here. Either way, how you doing? So either way, I'm doing my story. I want to make sure he's aware of where I am, and that I'm allowed to be here. So again, 6 months ago, they chose not to have these signs. They chose not to do what they were supposed to do. I'm doing great. Yourself? What's your name?
Officer Reyes.
Hey, Officer Reyes.
Just to let you know, they are working on getting a fence to secure our parking lot.
Okay.
I know it's not up yet, but
Okay.
just to let you know, this is a police officer vehicle. So if you want to record, you can go ahead and stay over there in front of the fence. If you wouldn't mind.
Oh, okay. Officer Reyes,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. You introduced yourself to me. I'm going to be polite and introduce myself to you, even though you haven't asked. My name's Tori. They call me Blue Lives Matter.
Okay.
You know why this fence is being installed?
I have no idea, sir. I just know it's being installed.
I'll tell you why it's being installed. Because 6 months ago, your officers unlawfully detained me and threatened to arrest me for trespassing. You see that sign there?
I have not actually.
That sign's there because of me.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm out here doing a follow-up story. I will not trespass on your property. I will continue to do my story here where I'm legally allowed to do it, and I'll be gone in a minute. Again, I do follow-ups on this. Earlier tonight, there was another activist out here, Desert Goat. Do you know him?
No,
He's a local guy. Okay. He's really friendly with you guys all the time. I'm not like Desert Goat. I'm not abrasive to you guys, but I'm very adamant about my rights.
Okay. I mean, you haven't been disrespectful at all.
No. I mean, I'm letting you know that's the way I am. If you see me in the future, I tell things like it is, but some officers take it wrong. You were polite. I made sure you saw me. If you saw it, I lit you up to make sure you saw where I am, what I'm doing. I'm before the sign, and I know you're putting in the fence. I know why you're putting in the fence. The fence is actually why I'm out here.
Okay.
For 17 years, your officers said, we don't have a fence, it's not fair. You remember the sign that one of your officers posted on the gate as you came in? The one that said, imagine that there's an imaginary fence around this property and they shot bullet holes through it. Do you remember that sign?
I'm not aware of that sign.
On your way into the locations, some of your officers posted a really sarcastic sign. It was humorous. If you're in law enforcement or maybe military or maybe like me, you have a sarcastic sense of humor. It was slightly humorous. However, they put bullet holes through the fence or through the sign. I know they didn't shoot them through the property, but other people, they don't know how that happened. That sign was really offensive to me because I said, look at these officers. They're going to post a sign up here making fun of city council for not getting them a fence. They ain't done a damn thing in 17 years as officers to walk into City Hall and say, hey, we just want a fence here for our private vehicles. You know, we store firearms, we store our go bags, other things that should be secure. Come on, guys, do the right thing. You spent $40,000 on the fire department. Can't we get a fence? No, none of them did it. But those same officers told me they would arrest me and violate my rights, even though I didn't break the law. And so they didn't care. And I said, well, you will care, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure you get this damn fence. And they went, yeah, right. Guess what? That fence is here. You know why? Because people like me who are activists, who come out and we do what we do, not to bash cops, but we say, hey, these guys violated my rights, but they say it's because they don't have a fence. Well, now you have a fence. Ain't no reason to violate no one's rights. Anyone dumb enough to walk past that sign now? Hey, beat the hell out of them in the parking lot. You know, do what you need to do. I'm not saying literally beat the hell out of them. I'm just saying before, when they knew there were no signs and people walked back there, they said, you're trespassing because we say you're trespassing. And that was not the case. I explained that to your lieutenant. I explained it to your officers. The little sign that you had up there at the gate that says authorized personnel only, in the state of Texas, the law is 3005. Trespass, to be given notice, it has to reasonably come to the attention of someone. If someone walks around this corner, there's no physical way they could see that sign. That's why that sign's there. So again, I'm just ranting to you, but this fence is why I'm out here. Because I took the time to come down to your city council. And trust me, I've spent way more money in your city than I do in my own city to get these things done. So I'm like, I come out at this time of the night to avoid other drama. It's the same I explained to that officer that night. I said, it's like, you're coming out here in the middle of the night. I said, yeah, because I don't want city employees saying, what are you filming? Why are you doing this? I'm like, no one should be approaching me. I'm not doing anything illegal. You've been completely respectful. I ran